Senator, thanks for being here with us. What are you hearing from Senate leadership? Do you think that a shutdown is imminent, or is there a deal to be had?
Yeah, thanks for having me. If you don't mind, I just wanted to start by acknowledging your previous segment. I mean, it was unbelievably powerful hearing about the shooting in Michigan, and of course, our whole country stands with the community there. But it really touches upon something I heard when I was back home in New Jersey. People are just wondering and asking me, what is happening to our country right now? How did we get to this kind of moment, the deep anxiety that they face, and everything that we're seeing with this back and forth about the shutdown and Trump saying, you know, we're not going to meet with the Democrats and now we're going to meet with them. It comes across to the American people like, you know, that Trump and this is just a game to him. You know, but there are real challenges there, real people that are hurting, from health care to affordability. And, you know, that's what I just wanted to say. And to get to your point, you know, right now, you know, Trump is barreling our country towards a shutdown because, again, he's playing with other people's chips. He's not feeling this himself, and he's completely detached from what the people on the ground are feeling right now. So this is just a game of dominance for him. It's just an effort for him to try to just assert his control over the Republican Party and our country. And people are sick and tired of that, honestly.
What is, Senator, thank you so much for joining us. What is the leverage that the Democrats have when Chuck Schumer says that they want to negotiate? Tell us, first of all, what are they negotiating for and what are they negotiating with?
Yeah. Well, look, the leverage for us is that we are on the side of the American people. The American people overwhelmingly want to be able to lower costs, overwhelmingly want to be able to have better health care that they can afford, to be able to pay and support their kids or their aging parents. You know, I feel it as a father of an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old. That's where our leverage comes from, is that at the end of this month and the beginning of October, a lot of Americans, millions of Americans, are going to realize that their health care costs are going to skyrocket. And they know that that is going to be directly because of what Donald Trump and the congressional Republicans did with that god-awful reconciliation bill that they had, that gutted Medicaid and so much health care for so many people. That's where the leverage is going to come from, because that's what the American people want. They want someone that's going to stand up and actually take on the issues that they care about, rather than just posture as if this is just, again, some tribal game between two political parties.
Congressmen, Republicans like Russ Vought have made very clear that if a shutdown happens, they're going to take this as an opportunity to do mass firings of federal workers. But it's also clear from the president's messaging that that is going to be blamed on Democrats. You lost your job because of Democrats. Democrats didn't want to come to the table and work with us, so now you're out of work, your paycheck isn't coming in. Do you have a plan for how you're going to counter that strategy, that message that seems somewhat inevitable?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, what Russell Vought is doing is deeply offensive to the American people, and it's something that needs to be stood up against. He is arguably the most dangerous person in this administration. He and Stephen Miller, and what they're trying to do. I mean, first of all, he's already gutting hundreds of thousands of federal workers. So the idea that you're going to blame the Democrats on that, nobody's going to believe him. You know, because they already in their budget are proposing cutting hundreds of thousands of federal workers. So this is something where, you know, the American people see that this is just destabilizing our country. So yes, our plan is to continue to push, to be able to shine a light on the dangers that is happening when they're cutting staff from FEMA, when they're cutting staff from other critical services like the Department of Education or Health and Human Services, or what they're doing to the CDC and gutting that and firing the director. Nobody in America thinks that there's a steady hand at the wheel. And with Russell Vought, someone who has such deep, extreme beliefs, you know, he is someone that is being exposed to the American people for what he is, which is a radical.
But, Senator, the president has already actually been successful in some cases in spreading false information about this. For example, he's made it sound as though the whole reason Democrats want to hold out on this fight is because they want to make sure undocumented immigrants get access to health care that they are not getting access to. And there are voters who do believe that this is all about giving handouts to people who don't deserve it. And so in a way, he is winning the messaging war, and people are buying into some of the stuff that even if Democrats counter message around it, it seems like they've almost lost already. What do you do about that, Senator?
Yeah, look, there's no doubt that, he is somebody that's able to drive a lot of that message. That's why he won his second term, despite all the lies and the disinformation that he's putting out there, blatantly lying. And it's not just him. Speaker Johnson earlier today tried to say, it's the Democrats that are going to be hurting the WIC program, Women, Infants, and Children program, when it's Donald Trump himself that was trying to cut tens of millions of dollars from that program. And their reconciliation bill could threaten millions of people from being able to access those programs. Speaker Johnson tried to say that Democrats would be hurting FEMA's efforts to be able to respond to disasters. Well, I remember Donald Trump saying that he wants to abolish FEMA. These are the things that we need to get out there. And I think right now the key is to make sure that the American people are paying attention. And I think that this is focusing people on this. And frankly, when they focus in on the message here, Donald Trump trying to take away health care from millions of Americans and making it unaffordable, and the Democrats and those of us trying to step up to be able to support families that are really struggling, that's a message we will win.
Senator, I want to talk about something a little more positive and give you a shout out. You're pushing Restoring Public Trust, Restoring Trust in Public Servants Act that is going to ban stock trading. I want to ask what it will do with crypto and that kind of trading, but also what kind of limitations will there be on spouses and other family members. This is something that the American public has long demanded and asked for, but Congress has been loath to pass. And so if you could explain what your bill is and why it's different from the Peters-Hawley bill.
Yeah, look, I think the vast majority of Americans, they have such deep distrust in government, and for the right reasons. There is rampant corruption and problems that we see. I am in the U.S. Senate by virtue of a corruption scandal in New Jersey of my predecessors. This is a problem that we have to step up and address. My bill is trying to make sure that we ban stock ownership and trading in Congress, but also in the executive branch, also in the judiciary. So the president, the vice president, the cabinet, others are also. I think we should have one standard of ethics, of responsibility across all three branches of government. So that's what I'm fighting for, to be able to step up. That would include, banning members of Congress from lobbying after their time in Congress and try to cash in and profit off of this. It'll work to stop Donald Trump and others from being able to profit off of their job, which is what we're seeing at an industrial level right now. So yes, it would take on stock trading. It would prevent the ownership of digital assets, other things like that, so that the American people will hopefully have assurance that people who are elected, people who are in high positions, are working for what's best for the American people, not what's best for their stock portfolio and bank account.
Senator Andy Kim, thank you for your time tonight. We appreciate you.